My man, big piece, Ryan Howard. I think
Man,
we'd be remiss if we didn't talk about this Devers thing. I don't know how it plays out in Paris, France, with a glass of wine doing an episode, but here in Atlanta and baseball country, you know, this is definitely taking a turn, and I think there are a lot of fingers to point both sides, but I'm gonna let you take a crack at it from Petty France.
man, you know what? First off, greetings from Perry. Um, it's this doesn't surprise me. I mean, the way that everything started off, obviously with the Bregman signing, then it was where am I going to play? Hey, we want to put him at third. No, I'm the third baseman. You paid the guy all this money. Um, you paid him franchise money, right?
Hmm.
And then you go out, you get Bregman, you bring him in, then you move him over to first. I- It's a tough situation because when he didn't want to move, you already started the rift. It's
Right.
tough because you got to wonder. Obviously, the team knew that they wanted to try to upgrade the position in the offseason. Now,
Hmm.
my question becomes one of those is, did you have this conversation with him, right? You're going to pay this guy to be the man. And you got to go. I feel like me personally, I feel like you got to go to him and you got to have the conversation one on one and say, look, we're trying to do what's best for the team. We want to win. We want to bring another championship back to Boston. Here's what we feel. We know what we did. You're our guy. We still see you as that guy. But we feel that we can be a better team if we add this piece and then we put you over here at first. Like we want to have
Hmm.
this conversation. I think it's the common courtesy conversation. I don't know if those conversations took place. I mean, all we saw was what played out pretty much more so in the media.
Right.
Um, Now fast forward, you get to this point to where he's going to San Francisco. It's the relationship has definitely been sour because you continue to ask this guy to move and he's not in it can ruin the chemistry of the team.
Hmm.
It sours the entire situation. So I think for Devers, I think for the Red Sox, it's best it's not a surprise that this is taking place. And you just want the best for both sides.
No doubt about that. And like as you say, you pointed out correctly. Were these conversations had? What were they
Mhm.
like? You just signed this man to all this money. Um, it's automatic. You have to consult with them. You
Mhm.
bring in somebody that's coming to the team that's going to play his position, presumably. Um, hey, look, we want to move you over to the other corner. We want you to DH. And from what I've read and from what I've heard, it was a little bit of both. It was like, you don't need your glove. Then the
Mhm.
first baseman goes down. Actually, you do need your glove. It takes a lot to sign that contract and to say, okay, I'm not going to play third. I'm signed as a third baseman, but I'm not going to play third. Okay. I'll probably call up Big Poppy, talk to him about being a DH in Boston and just kind of trying to digest that. I'm assuming that happened. And then the depth chart gets a little shallow and, we want you to play first base now. I didn't sign up for that. I didn't necessarily sign up to not play third, but I'm making that adjustment. I'm working my way through that mentally. We saw he had a slow spring training, a horrible start to the season, but he started coming around. So it's like, okay, maybe he's starting, to accept what the new role is. I don't know what the clubhouse was like. I'm not in there, but outwardly he started, playing like Rafael Devers.
Mhm.
And then to ask God to pick up his glove and play first base, it kind of feels like if I'm Rafi, like you're toying with me. Like you
Mhm.
already asked me to do something I don't want to do, and now you're going to try to force me to do something I clearly don't want to do, and that's be on the other side. So I get his perspective. Protecting the clubhouse, though, which is where we are now, where they had to make this trade. They're bringing up a whole bunch of young guys, and they're trying to create a new culture over there with Alex Cora. Um, is that the right move? I don't know. They felt this the right
Right.
move. I'm sure Rafi is okay with it. As we were reading from his camp, that they were open. They didn't demand a
Mhm.
trade, but they were definitely open to listening for landing spots, and they found one in San Francisco. And if you're Rafi, you have to be excited about that one because the Giants are a really good team this year.
Yeah.
They're right there in the thick of things with San Diego and the Dodgers. So you go from a team that wasn't contending, still trying to find their way and land on their feet, to a team that's actually in contention right now. So
Mhm.
um, hopefully it works out, the best for both of them. But in these situations, I think when you sign a guy, a franchise guy, almost give him a franchise tag, and then you make a move without, not that you need his consent. Let's not say that.
No,
Not one
yeah, yeah, yeah,
player
yeah.
is
Absolutely.
bigger than the same, but you have to at least talk to him like, hey, as you said, this is what we're thinking. Let us know
Hmm.
where you stand. The team is going to do, the GM, the president of baseball ops, they're going to make the moves that they want to make anyway. Period.
Right.
Point blank.
Right.
That's what's going to happen. But giving you an entire offseason of, this is what we're going to do. And maybe the offseason is like, no, we're not interested in that. We're looking for somebody for the other side or other spaces. And then Bregman just fell into their lap and it was like, well, we have to take this shot. And it was
Right.
all a shock to everyone. Who knows? But unfortunately, it wound up the way it did in Boston. I loved Rafi in Boston. He was,
Hmm.
it was really it. I mean, for the most part, he was their only guy. They
Yeah.
have players, but he was their guy. Like the team is going to be built around him, what he's done offensively, handing left-handed pitchers, being able to hit in big situations, and now he's taken us, in the words of LeBron James, he's taken his talents to San Francisco.
Yeah. And it's one of those things where it's tough because, as you said, he's the guy, right? Where you feel like you're being toyed with because it's like, hey, we're gonna move you from this position. We want you to DH. Oh, well, this guy just went down. Now we need you to play first. Like now you're treating him as, a $300 million
A
plus
utility player,
utility player.
right,
You know what I
right,
mean?
right.
And it's like,
And we have pride, we have egos in what we do. We worked hard to
we
get
do.
there.
We have egos. We have pride. It's like, man, look, y'all just paid me all this money to do this and be in this position or whatever. But at the same time, right, in the back of your mind is like, well, am I trying to do everything I can to try to help the team win? Like where does that come from? To where
Mm-hmm.
it's like, all right, I understand the situation. This dude goes down, and I may have to go play first base, but am I having the mindset of like, all right, I'll go play first base until this guy is back. Like, let's have that conversation. I think
Right.
I think there has to be that communication. And I think a lot of times in today's game, you don't have that type of communication where,
No.
at least back in the day, the manager would call you in, you have whatever conversation. It may not be what you want to hear, but at least at the end of the day, when you walked out of the manager's office, you were both on the same page,
Mm-hmm.
right? You knew what was going to happen. You would walk away, you would come into the clubhouse the next day. You know what time it is.
Yeah.
So I think for him, yes, the pride, the ego, everything kind of comes into play. Um, $300 million plus utility man, that's a tough one to swallow. But
That's
but I
funny.
think I think it's all for the best. I think it's all for the best because I think that, from spring training on in, um, the relationship the relationship was soiled. And I
Mm-hmm.
think for both parties, the best thing to do was to part ways. Now he can go to San Francisco, like you said. He's on a contender. He's going to get into a new environment where he's got to come in and fit in, right? He's
Right.
got to be Rafi, but
Right.
he's got to kind of get in and feel the chemistry of what's going on in in San Fran.
Right.
So now he's got to come in, kind of be okay. I'm gonna do me,
Reinvent
but
himself
I gotta,
almost.
I
Right.
gotta, I gotta look both ways, as I cross the street and come up in here and try to see what's what. So
Mm-hmm.
it's gonna be exciting to see him, especially getting to go against San Diego and LA
Yeah.
on the
New
regular now.
rivalries, new
So yeah,
rivalries.
those
He's used to
rivalries
the
are gonna
Boston,
be
New York
serious.
rivalry. Now he's going to
Yeah,
get introduced to the LA, San Francisco rivalry. So it's going to be fun. And I think you brought up one good point. We don't have to beat this horse until it's dead. But I think there are just layers, too many layers from
yeah.
the top to the top of the staff to the player as far as communication.
Mhm.
Real simple call. You don't have to go through my agent. Call me directly. Call me in office. Whatever it may be. Find me, get to me, and let me
Mhm.
know what's going on. And I'm not sure that happens. So here we are. Both teams have has made their decisions. Rockies in San Fran, Boston's moving on. They have a nice core. They do. Baseball is interesting. A move like this in June. Who saw
Mhm.
that coming?
That's why we love it. That's why we love it. That's why we love it.
Yes, sir.